Hey there, basketball fans! Today we're diving deep into one of the most jaw-dropping trade ideas of the 2025 NBA offseason that has been sending shockwaves through the basketball world. Imagine this. Jaylen Brown, the dynamic wing of the Boston Celtics, making a surprising move to the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, you heard that right. The very franchise that once played a key role in shaping Boston's modern era by parting with crucial draft picks back in 2013 is now at the center of a blockbuster deal involving one of Boston's biggest stars. This proposed trade might sound like something straight out of a blockbuster movie script because it challenges the very foundations of both franchises. Brooklyn would acquire Jaylen Brown, a player who has established himself as an elite scorer, a lockdown defender, and a finals MVP. Brown's numbers have been impressive. Last season, he averaged over 22 points per game, grabbed close to 6 rebounds, and dished out more than 4 assists on average, showing that he's more than just a scorer. He's a complete player who impacts every facet of the game. On the flip side, Boston would receive a package that focuses heavily on future assets and flexibility. Cam Thomas would come via a sign-and-trade arrangement, while young Noah Clowney would join the roster as a promising project. The Celtics would also gain the 8th overall pick in the 2025 draft, a first-round pick in 2027 via Philadelphia, and a top-5 protected first-round pick in 2031. It's a massive haul, but the motivation behind this move isn't purely about basketball talent. It's about navigating the harsh realities of the NBA's luxury tax system and the salary cap. Boston is currently facing a daunting financial situation. They are projected to exceed the league's second luxury tax apron by nearly $20 million. Crossing that threshold not only means paying exorbitant luxury taxes, but also severely limits their flexibility to make further trades or roster moves. This scenario forces the Celtics front office to consider difficult decisions, and offloading Jaylen Brown's massive Supermax contract becomes a strategic necessity. Brown's salary is set to hit over $53 million next season, and could approach nearly $65 million by the 2028-29 season. By trading him, Boston could clear crucial cap space and gain assets that might help them reset the roster for the future. Adding to the urgency of this situation is the injury to Jason Tatum, Boston's other superstar. Tatum is expected to miss most, if not all, of the 2025-26 season due to a torn Achilles tendon. Without Tatum available, the Celtics' hopes of contending next season take a serious hit. This potential trade, while weakening the team in the short term, might offer Boston a chance to avoid the second luxury tax apron and accumulate valuable draft capital to rebuild. Cam Thomas, who would come to Boston as part of the deal, is a talented scorer with potential, but it's unclear if he fits into Boston's long-term plans. Noah Clowney, while still a developing prospect, adds youth and upside. Ultimately, the key takeaway for Boston is financial relief and a haul of draft picks that could shape the team's future. For Brooklyn, the motivation behind pursuing Jaylen Brown is crystal clear. They want a bona fide star to lead the franchise. The Nets have struggled to find a franchise cornerstone since the collapse of the Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant era. They failed to land a top 4 pick in the 2000s. And 25 draft lottery, making it even harder to acquire star talent through the draft. Landing Brown, a proven all-star and finals MVP, would give Brooklyn a player around whom they could build their team. Pairing Brown's offensive prowess with the defensive skills of Nicholas Claxton and the floor spacing provided by Cameron Johnson could instantly boost Brooklyn's ceiling. Even though Cam Thomas showed flashes of all-star scoring potential before a hamstring injury sidelined him, Brooklyn might be willing to move on if it means acquiring a player of Brown's caliber. The irony is palpable. Brown wearing a Nets jersey would be the ultimate twist in a saga that began with Brooklyn trading away future picks that helped launch Boston's dynasty. Of course, this trade comes with risks. Brown's contract is enormous, and building a championship-caliber roster around him would require flawless roster construction, especially if Brooklyn cannot acquire another star alongside him. Still, In a league where elite wings are incredibly valuable and stars rarely hit the trade market, Brooklyn could see this as their best chance to turn things around. From Boston's perspective, this could be just the beginning of a major roster overhaul. If Jaylen Brown is moved, other names like Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Derek White could also emerge in trade discussions as the Celtics look to reshape their team's core and find the right balance between competitiveness and financial sustainability. This hypothetical trade, while unsettling for many fans, reveals a larger truth about the current state of both franchises. Brooklyn is desperate for a star to lead them back to relevance, while Boston may have to prioritize long-term flexibility over short-term sentiment. Whether or not this deal ever comes to fruition, it has already sparked intense debate across the NBA world and will undoubtedly influence the trade market in the coming months. Diving deeper into the implications of his trade proposal, it's important to consider how Jaylen Brown's move to Brooklyn could reshape the landscape of the Eastern Conference. The Nets for years have struggled with consistency and identity, bouncing between rebuilding phases and brief playoff runs. Bringing in Brown would instantly elevate their status, giving them a player capable of carrying a significant scoring load while also contributing on defense. His versatility on both ends of the floor is exactly what Brooklyn has been missing since the departure of their former superstars. Brown's ability to attack the basket, knock down mid-range shots, and defend multiple positions would complement the Nets' existing pieces. Nicholas Claxton provides rim protection and athleticism, while Cameron Johnson's shooting stretches defenses and opens driving lanes. This trio, alongside Brown, could form the nucleus of a team with a legitimate chance to disrupt the hierarchy of the Eastern Conference. However, the Nets' front office would need to be meticulous in constructing the supporting cast to avoid salary cap pitfalls and ensure there is enough depth to challenge elite contenders. On Boston's side, the trade signals a willingness to pivot away from the current core and embrace a longer rebuild or retooling period. The luxury tax apron has been a significant hurdle for the Celtics, limiting their ability to add pieces or absorb contracts without severe financial penalties. Moving Brown's hefty contract could ease that burden and allow Boston to pursue multiple avenues to reconfigure their roster. The draft picks included in the trade are especially valuable in this context, offering the Celtics flexibility to either develop young talent internally or package those assets in future trades. Thomas's arrival in Boston could serve as a bridge player in this transition. Although he has shown scoring bursts and promise, Thomas is still a developing talent who might not immediately fill Brown's role, but could grow into a reliable offensive option. Noah Clowney represents a more long-term project, a player with intriguing physical tools who requires time and coaching to unlock his potential. Together, these players plus the draft picks provide Boston with a foundation to build around Jason Tatum once he returns from injury, or to possibly shift towards a new core if the front office decides to pursue further moves. One of the most fascinating aspects of this hypothetical trade is the underlying narrative of the NBA's ever-shifting power dynamics. The Brooklyn Nets, once home to a superstar duo that seemed destined to dominate the league, have since faced setbacks and reconfigurations. Jaylen Brown's potential arrival would mark a new chapter, a chance for redemption, and a fresh start. Conversely, the Celtics' acceptance of this deal would reflect a recognition that even successful franchises must sometimes dismantle parts of their team to maintain long-term competitiveness. In a league defined by star power where a few elite players can alter the fate of entire franchises, acquiring or losing a player like Jaylen Brown carries enormous weight. It's not just about points scored or defensive stops. It's about leadership, identity, and the ability to win when the pressure is highest. Brown has proven he can perform on the biggest stage, which makes this trade proposal so compelling and controversial at once. Financial considerations, of course, loom large in these discussions. The NBA's luxury tax system is notoriously punishing, especially for teams that push beyond the second apron threshold. For the Celtics, avoiding this penalty could be the difference between remaining competitive and being hamstrung by financial constraints that limit their options. Offloading Brown's contract creates a rare opportunity for flexibility, and given Tatum's expected injury absence, the Celtics might view this as a necessary recalibration rather than a setback. For the Nets, committing to Brown's Supermax deal is a big gamble, but one that could pay off if paired with the right supporting cast. In today's NBA, wings who can do it all, score, defend, and facilitate, are invaluable commodities. Brown fits that mold perfectly, and Brooklyn's willingness to part with future assets and young players shows just how hungry they are for a star to rally around. This trade idea also highlights the complexities of roster building in the modern NBA. Teams must juggle talent acquisition, salary cap management, draft capital, and player development simultaneously. For Boston, the challenge is balancing the urgency to stay competitive with the necessity to plan for the future. For Brooklyn, it's about seizing a rare opportunity to add star power without mortgaging the franchise's long-term viability. Moreover, the ripple effects of such a trade could extend beyond these two teams. If Boston moves Brown, it might trigger a cascade of roster moves involving other veterans or young players looking for new opportunities. Names like Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Derek White could gain new significance in trade talks as the Celtics navigate this transitional phase. Similarly, Brooklyn's acquisition of Brown could attract additional free agents or trade partners eager to join a rising contender. All in all, this blockbuster trade scenario is a perfect example of how NBA franchises constantly adapt to shifting circumstances, whether those are injuries, financial pressures, or the elusive quest for a championship. While it remains purely hypothetical for now, the very discussion of Jaylen Brown potentially suiting up for the Nets underscores the unpredictable and thrilling nature of the league. Fans on both sides will be watching closely as the offseason unfolds, knowing that any move could dramatically reshape the balance of power in the Eastern Conference and beyond. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a shocking rumor circulating within the NBA community, it is alleged that Boston Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla made a startling comment about the team's internal dynamics. According to whispers emerging from inside the Celtics organization, Mazzulla reportedly claimed that there is a player contaminating the roster. While these words have not been officially confirmed, the implications of such a statement could have far-reaching effects on team chemistry and the Celtics' performance moving forward. Joe Mazzulla, who has been known for his straightforward and no-nonsense coaching style, rarely speaks publicly about locker room issues or player relationships. This rumored remark, if true, hints at deeper unrest within one of the NBA's most storied franchises. The use of the term contaminating suggests that the player in question might be negatively influencing teammates, whether through attitude, behavior, or off-court distractions. Such disruptions can ripple through a team, affecting morale, focus, and ultimately results on the court. The Celtics have long been a team that prides itself on unity, discipline, and a shared commitment to winning. However, every championship contender faces challenges beyond just X's and O's. Internal conflicts and personality clashes are common in professional sports, especially when a roster includes highly competitive and sometimes volatile personalities. If a player is indeed causing harm to the group's cohesion, it could force the coaching staff and management to consider difficult decisions, including possible trades or benching to preserve the team's overall health. Fans and analysts have speculated about which player might be at the center of this controversy, but no clear name has surfaced. The Celtics roster features several high-profile athletes with strong personalities, making it difficult to pinpoint who might be behind such a claim. Moreover, rumors often swirl during times of transition or when a team struggles to find consistency, and the Celtics have experienced moments of uneven play this season. Despite the uncertainty, the rumor alone has sparked conversations among the Celtics fan base and NBA insiders alike. The possibility of internal discord threatens to overshadow the team's on-court achievements and puts additional pressure on Mazzulla and his coaching staff to manage personalities effectively. It also raises questions about the front office's role in maintaining harmony and whether roster moves are imminent to address the issue. Ultimately, the Boston Celtics' success depends not only on talent, but also on chemistry and trust among players and coaches. If Joe Mazzulla's alleged statement is accurate, the franchise faces a critical test in addressing the underlying problem before it worsens. The coming weeks will be telling as the team seeks to stabilize and refocus on their goal of competing at the highest level in the NBA. Until then, the rumor remains a stark reminder that even elite teams are vulnerable to the challenges of managing human dynamics in a high-pressure sports environment. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.